I'm also delighted to welcome you here today to our 5th MIBI conference. As you heard from my colleague Dennis, we have a busy morning ahead, and we look forward to engaging with you, our members and stakeholders on the many different areas that we, the MIBI, champion. I'm sure you will all agree that the alarming increase in deaths and serious accidents on our roads in the past year has given us all pause for thought, and our heartfelt sympathies go out to their friends and families. At the MIBI, our mission is to protect the victims of uninsured and untraced driving. That is our greater purpose. While accepting we're only a small part of the road safety jigsaw, we do not underestimate the important role we can play in reducing uninsured driving in Ireland. Our Irish motor insurance database, which Tom O'Brien and our special guest from the Gardaí will speak to later this morning, will help make the roads a little safer for everybody. And last month, we were proud to partner with the Road Safety Authority to reach out to 32,000 fleet owners and motor traders around the country to raise awareness of the new legal requirement to upload their fleet registration details into the National Fleet Database. We're also working closely with their insurance broker partners via Broker Ireland and, of course, our members. I won't spend too long talking about our current numbers at the MIBI, but I would like to briefly highlight some recent trends and balances. I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that claims notifications have increased 18% in 2023 when compared to last year. We're now starting to get back to normal levels of activity following the considerable reduction in notifications due to reduced traffic on the roads related to the various COVID-related lockdowns. Whilst we've seen an 18% year-on-year increase in notifications, we still remain 22% down on notifications when compared to our pre-COVID 2019 baseline figures, represented by the yellow line in the graph, or the green line rather. Notwithstanding this, you'll observe the yellow line, which represents 2023 claims notifications, showing that we returned to 2019 pre-pandemic levels for the month of August this year, so we really are starting to close that gap. I've addressed claims notifications on the preceding slide. Not surprisingly, the multi-year downward trend has flowed through to claim settlements and our open claims portfolio. You'll note year-to-date settlement levels are 7% higher year-on-year. However, this is still 26% lower than when compared to the same period in our pre-COVID baseline of 2019. I'm also happy to note that our open portfolio of unsettled claims remains at low levels, as our in-house claims team and our handling office partners have taken advantage of the lull in reported claims in the prior year. While they increased by a modest 4% year-on-year, they have reduced by 21% compared to that 2019 baseline. Turning now to our responsibilities for administering the Motor Insurers Insolvency Compensation Fund for our members and the state. As you'll likely be aware, the MIICF Fund was established to contribute towards the cost of any future motor insurance insolvencies in Ireland. The central bank are entitled to seek reimbursement for 35% of the cost of insolvent insurers' motor claims that are paid by the Insurance Compensation Fund. The fair value of the MIICF investments at the 31st of December 2022 was $110.5 million. We received $37.8 million contributions in June of 2023, which represents 2% of motor premiums for 2022. This is slightly lower than the amount collected from members last June of $38.6 million. We had our first call on the fund from the ICF and the Central Bank in July of this year, and we paid $1.6 million to them in respect of the Geffian insolvency. The fund has continued to grow as the volatile investment environment we saw last year has improved, with just shy of $149 million available for future insolvencies at the end of August. We continue to operate in challenging investment markets, which are starting to stabilise now, and the fund is performing in line with external benchmarks in these uncertain times. The MIICF Fund returned a positive 1.15% in the first 6 months of 2023, which is in line with the closely comparable Bloomberg EuroAg 3 to 5 year index. We continue to build highest quality core yield into the portfolio by increasing our direct investments in Euro government bonds. The duration is short at 2.93 years, as this is where the balance can be found between low risk, slightly higher yields, and liquidity at present. The contribution rate is subject to an annual review by the Minister of Finance, no later than the 31st of October each year. and may be varied between 0 and 3% annual gross written motor premium, depending on factors such as the amount held in the missive fund and the likelihood of a call on the fund. The rate is currently set at 2%, and as I alluded to earlier, and as you'll note again on this slide, the fund is growing nicely with just under 149 million in the fund at the end of August. This graph is our best estimate as to how the fund is expected to grow, but of course is based on a number of assumptions, such as no new insolvencies and stable investment and motor insurance markets. On this basis, we would expect the Minister to be able to reduce the rate to 1% in 2024, which would reduce the amounts due from members in respect of 2024 premiums, which of course will be payable in June of 2025. The 6th European Motor Insurance Directive introduces many new requirements that the state will need to transpose into Irish legislation by the 23rd of December. We continue to work with the Departments of Transport and Finance to support them in this regard. I mention this here as the Irish legislation will likely contain additional responsibilities for the MIBI to aid the victims of motor insurance insolvencies. My colleagues Aisling and Dennis will expand on this topic on their presentations later in the morning. Turning to strategy. Our vision at the MIBI is, of course, to protect the interests of the victims of uninsured drivers. From our vision, we developed our mission, which has 5 strategic pillars: to fairly and promptly compensate victims of uninsured and untraced driving, to reduce uninsured driving, to develop our people, which is key to delivering on our vision, to provide guidance and expertise to members and stakeholders, and all of that underpinned by committing to delivering excellent customer service. I'll now update you on the progress of some of our initiatives completed in the past year, along with some of our interesting planned activities. Starting with our primary mission to fairly and promptly compensate victims, we were delighted to agree a new service level agreement with our legal panel during the year, many of whom are here today. It's good to see you. Looking ahead to next year, we're moving Presto, our core insurance application, to the cloud, the first stage of which is concluded. We expect to complete this important Presto project to enhance performance and business continuity resilience in the coming months. Once that project is complete, we plan on developing an additional app to aid the fight against fraud. We're also excited about exploring mediation with PIAB in Q1 of next year once they roll out to motor claims. I'm looking forward to hearing more on the exciting developments happening in PIAB from Rosalind Carroll later in the conference. Turning back to fraud, in 2017 we developed a fighting fraud strategy, which we refreshed and relaunched at our conference last year. Our fraud manager, Ken McKinley, and the whole MIBI team work in partnership with the claims handlers in our 5 MIBI handling offices and their specialist investigation units, and are ably supported by our accident investigators and legal panel. We support the function with appropriate technology, such as IBM i2 software, and we geocode our claims and accident data to look for suspicious patterns. Ken and the wider team have a large portfolio of suspicious claims that they're constantly reviewing. At any one time, approximately 1 in 8 of the claims notified to the MIBI are initially deemed suspicious, representing close to 8% of our claims reserves. Together with our handling office colleagues, we spent more than 12,000 hours investigating suspicious claims. Since the beginning of 2020, the MIBI has assisted the Gardaí with 166 investigations, leading to multiple prosecutions and convictions. These include both cases referred out by the MIBI, as well as data access requests for information from the Gardaí to support them in other investigations. At the end of the second quarter of 2023, we had realised 26.2 million in savings on suspicious claims since we launched our strategy in 2017, and we're well on the way to delivering an additional 1 million in savings in the third quarter of 2023 alone, with more than 421 claims discontinued, withdrawn, or dismissed. Turning now to reducing uninsured driving, we've hit some important milestones on the Irish motor insurance database projects, with a lot more planned for the remainder of this year. We're very excited about this game changer, which should, with the support of the Gardaí, have a very significant impact on the scourge of uninsured driving. My colleague Tom O'Brien and our guest speakers from An Garda Síochána, Assistant Commissioner Paula Hillman, and their Head of Technical Architecture, Mr. Ger Maguire, will bring us more on this important initiative later. Shockingly, Ireland has 3 times the level of uninsured vehicles as the UK and 4 times the EU EEA average. Ireland may now have the highest level of uninsured driving in the EU. That's the message the MIBI shared with the Joint Oireachtas Committee on Transport and Communications during our recent discussion on uninsured driving and road safety. My colleague, Dermot Cogan, has done a deep dive into some of the success stories in these countries and will share his learnings later, which I'm sure you will find to be fascinating and thought-provoking. Part of our strategy includes raising public awareness of uninsured driving. We continue to publicise this as part of our media strategy, and this has gathered great momentum with regular items appearing on national and regional radio and television. We will be continuing these efforts via traditional and online media into 2024. We utilise social and digital media to educate victims and members on how they can receive assistance from the MIBI. We have developed a number of new animated videos to assist, in this case, what an insured driver should do if they are unfortunately involved in a road traffic accident with an uninsured driver.
Pat's car was hit by an uninsured vehicle. Pat has comprehensive car insurance. So, even though he was hit by an uninsured car, he doesn't need to contact the MIBI. Because he has comprehensive insurance, he can contact his own insurer and his no-claims bonus won't be impacted. The claim is covered under the MIBI's agreement with insurers called the No Claims Discount Protocol.
Another one of our key strategic pillars, we remain committed to investing in our people with ongoing company-wide learning and development, shadowing and knowledge sharing. We're continuing our efforts to shift from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset. As an example of this, we had a very successful team building event on aiding vulnerable customers in September, and we have a 2-day project management course for a wide cross-section of the team scheduled for October and November. As a diverse and progressive company, MIBI are once again proud to have achieved gender parity on our board of directors for the 2nd year in a row. Many of you will know that this is quite the achievement in the insurance industry, and we're proud to be part of this positive shift towards equality. Last year, we were delighted to receive our Silver Award from the Irish Centre for Diversity in recognition of our commitment to diversity and inclusion in the workplace, and we will be seeking to renew this accreditation again in 2024. At the MIBI, we're truly committed to gender diversity across all levels of our organisation. We invest in our people and encourage progression regardless of gender. Published in April 2020 and supported by the government, Ireland's Women in Finance Charter underpins the industry's ambition to see increased participation of women at all levels. This includes junior, middle and senior management, board and leadership roles within financial services organisations based in Ireland. Fostering and harnessing the talent and experience of all women in financial services is crucial to developing a strong pipeline of talent. This will lead to greater diversity of thought, experience and leadership styles in decision-making processes for the economic benefit of business and the wider community as a whole. Our keynote, Minister Jennifer Carroll McNeill, is a strong advocate for Ireland's Women in Finance Charter, and in fact it was her presentation on International Women's Day in March of this year that was the catalyst for the MIBI investigating becoming a signatory of this important charter. Signatories are not just making a public declaration to make their businesses more gender balanced, they're committed to setting targets and timelines to which they will be held accountable. Progress will be monitored and reported on by the ESRI. I'm proud to share with you today that last month, the MIBI became one of the 56 signatories to Ireland's Women's in Finance Charter. I believe that this strategy to increase female participation will make our sector stronger because more diversity means better decision making. In line with our objective of providing guidance and expertise to you, our MIBI members, service providers, and wider stakeholders, today's conference is an important annual event that allows us the opportunities to connect, engage, and inform. And on the subject of connecting and informing, our new CRM platform, Microsoft Dynamics, successfully went live in June. Introducing a CRM system aligns strongly with our strategy to place the customer experience at the heart of everything we do. As a member-centric organisation, the CRM is an important central repository for our members and stakeholder information, and it helps us keep you informed on crucial issues. The COB, formerly known as the Council of Bureau, is an international organisation affiliated with the UN that is active in the motor insurance sector and acts for the protection of cross-border road traffic victims. It coordinates the activities of both the Green Card system, whose members are 46 Green Card Bureau, representing more than 1,500 motor insurers in 50 countries in Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, and the Protection of Visitors system, whose members are the compensation bodies, guarantee funds, and information centres applying the European motor insurance directives in the 30 member states of the European Economic Area. The MIBI, as the Green Card Bureau, compensation body, guarantee fund, and information centre for Ireland, we do it all, is a member and strong contributor punching above our weight. I was recently appointed to their supervisory board, and the MIBI are also represented by MIBI colleagues here today on the Internal Regulations Committee, the Information Centre Committee, and their Anti-Fraud Working Group. Looking ahead to 2024, the long-awaited finalisation of the MIB agreement is on hold in the Attorney General's office, pending agreement on the transposition of the 6th Motor Insurance Directive in Ireland. The MIBI will pick this up again with senior Department of Transport officials once this has taken place. After those updates are agreed, it'll be time to brief victims, members, and stakeholders, including the legal profession. Here's another example of how we educate members and victims. As property insurers aren't always a member of the MIBI, the situation is a little different from the earlier video.
An uninsured vehicle hit Anne's house, damaging the property. Thankfully, Anne has house insurance. So, even though her house was hit by an uninsured car, she doesn't need to contact the MIBI. She must make her claim through her own insurance company. When her insurer has settled her claim, she can contact the MIBI and they will cover any policy excess. However, her no-claims discount may be affected.
Our fifth strategic pillar focuses on our customers. We've been very busy over the past year encouraging the uptake of our online claims form through direct and indirect marketing. To reach our target audience, we followed up its launch late last year with a focused social media campaign and visits to our high-volume claimant solicitors over the course of the year. We now have an impressive and growing usage, with 35% of our claims reported online. In addition to it delivering good practice web form functionality, such as error code and data validation logic, it was developed to remove repetitive data input. It further enhances the user experience, allowing all claims-related and relevant supporting documentation to be loaded simply online, greatly reducing multiple follow-up correspondence. This has proved a great win for both ourselves and our stakeholders and customers. Still on the topic of customers, listening to the voice of our customers is important, but given the nature of the MIBI, where we effectively have no first-party claims, measuring customer experience requires some creativity. Last month, we commenced a structured pilot using customer thermometer to obtain feedback on our information centre inquiries. This will measure customer feedback on this important service, one that helps injured parties identify the insurer of the offending vehicle, and we will continue to use this to help us to improve our customer service model at the MIBI. And now, in conclusion, at the MIBI, there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and our annual conference is just one of them. This is our opportunity to share the team effort of the MIBI, our members and our stakeholders. The effort is what helps us realise our mission of helping to protect the victims of uninsured driving. This year has once again been both busy and productive for all of us, and we're proud of the strategic objectives achieved and the strategic direction that we continue to drive towards. We look to the future We will continue to engage with you, our stakeholders, through our MIBI strategy to innovate, realise our vision, and continue to achieve our goals. This includes engaging with the government and COB to support the implementation of the new Motor Insurance Directive, and working with the Minister of Transport to finalise the long-awaited update to the MIBI agreement. From a people perspective, we continue to live our Investors in Diversity Silver Award, and we look forward to embracing the ethos of the Women in Finance Charter as we at the MIBI strive for positive change and continued improvements, further embedding D&I in all areas of our organisation. Throughout today, our speakers will get into some of the finer details as laid out in the agenda, but for me, for now, thank you for your attention and enjoy our MIBI conference.